Good evening, folks. Welcome to Everyday KT number 174. Today is another fun day because we get to play with this. This is my phone. And luckily for all of us, I have a good friend named Nathan who is not in California. This one is in Texas. Actually, right now, he is pouring himself a wee dram so that we can have a conversation. So as soon as he's ready, I'm going to give him a call. And he's in Texas, so he's an hour behind me. And for those of you who don't know, he also goes by the handle Kilted Texan. He has had a significant role with one of the Scottish festivals and the Highland Games down in the Houston area. He also knows Corey, our Kilted Realtor, fairly decently. He also knows a few of the other folks that frequent the show. So, like I said, he's pouring himself a scotch. Hopefully it's a decent dram. And once he gets that done, we are going to have a nice little phone call. So, sitting here chatting with him while I'm talking to you guys. Because live is live. Yes, very cool, Mike. That's right. So live is live, which means what happens, happens. I push call, he answers, and that's it. We just go with it. Those of you who have not been on the show and know what's going on, when I can, I'm calling him right now. Alrighty, speakerphone. See how this goes. Turn this volume up all the way, and hopefully you guys can hear it okay. Hey, Nathan, how's it going?
It's going all right.
Good, good. Hey, folks that are live, let us know if you can hear both myself and Nathan well. So, Nathan, what was that?
Telling my wife to go watch the video and let me know if she can hear me.
That is hilarious. Hey, folks. So, I already introduced, kind of said, you go by the handle Kilted Texan. You are down in the Houston area.
Right.
You've happened to bump into Corey and Ed.
Yep.
And you've had a hand in kind of revitalizing the Scottish Highland Games down in that general area.
Trying
to. So, first and most important question of the night: what scotch did you pour?
Tomatin 12-year-old.
Ooh, Tomatin 12-year-old, for those of you. It's awesome. Okay, so Joe can hear you, and the rest of the interweb can hear both of us, so awesome. I have a McClellan's. It's a blended Isla scotch. Very, very tasty. So, hang on a sec. So, first and foremost, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into wearing the kilt? You know, what was the thing that happened, and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna put that on and wear it. What was the thing that got you to that point?
Well, it started out. My mom kicked me out of the house and made my dad take me to a Highland Games whenever I was 13, 14. I didn't want to go, but she said I was driving her nuts, and that if I didn't get out of the house, she was going to kill me. So my first experience at the Highland Games was being drug out of the house when I didn't want to go. So it wasn't a very positive experience, but I ended up going back the next year at the Houston Highland Games. This was back 96, 97, I think.
Awesome.
I actually sat and watched the games and kind of got interested in them. Looked at a couple of kilts, saw how expensive they were at that time. There weren't a whole lot of cheap kilts around.
No.
So we ended up finding a couple of other Highland Games that were around, and I found a Texas Bluebonnet tartan kilt.
Really?
Full hanging on the rack at the games, and it actually fit me, straight off the rack.
Wow.
I talked to the purveyor, to the vendors, and I told them I have this much money as a down payment because it was a $500 kilt.
Yeah, those are no joke.
Yeah, and they allowed me to pay it off over a month and a half. Sending them $100 payments. So I mean that kind of got me started.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years later at a Clear Lake games in Clear Lake, Texas, was my first time competing, and I went there not expecting to compete, so I was actually in flat-footed moccasin boots, and whenever I saw what was going on, I decided to compete barefoot.
Yeah, I've seen people, first-timers, get out there, and they're competing in running shoes or God knows what. And then you see the guys who win, and they're wearing football cleats or soccer cleats or some kind of concoction of a shoe that I've not seen before.
Yeah, you see some of the guys, each event they'll switch out, different shoes, because for throwing they'll wear track spikes.
Yeah.
And for the hammer, of course, you got guys that wear the boots with the 6-inch spikes that they can drive into the ground so that they can get a better torque on the hammer before they let it go.
Okay. Wow, that's awesome. So, started out with the blue bonnet tartan, and how many have you accumulated over the years? Rough ballpark guess.
I'm sitting on 12 or 13. I think
Nice.
12.
Very nice. So what's your favorite one?
It's a toss up between the Brotherhood tartan, and that's not just kissing up to the Brotherhood. That's just I love that tartan, and then also my German heritage from USA Kilts. Those are probably my two favorite.
Awesome. That's really cool. Yeah. My favorite obviously definitely is my Brotherhood of the Kilt tartan. But if that's not the one I'm wearing, if it's tartan, it's going to be my McTavish 1850 variant, because that was the handmade in Scotland by somebody slaving over the thing for 40 or whatever hours. It's an epic kilt. So started out, and you actually competed last year, and I've noticed a lot online that you are working with other athletes in the area, trying to build up the competition and the festival for when that comes around again.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? It's like what it is that when you started just showing up and competing barefoot to now having an active role in trying to increase the games as a whole?
Well, the Houston Highland Games, that's kind of my home games. It's the closest one to me. It's about a 45-minute hour drive. And, that's the one that no matter what was going on, I never missed that games. And then about 5 years ago, they had a slump, and they skipped a year, and they came back for 2 years, and then these last 2 years, they actually haven't had a games.
Oh, wow.
Because there was different stuff with the board, and just some of the organization was lacking.
Yeah, no, I helped out with the Tulsa games. For 4 or 5 years, I can see how when something goes awry with the leadership, then the whole thing goes to hell in a handbasket.
Yep. Well, I got added to a Facebook group about 3 or 4 months ago called the Houston Highland Throwers, and it was put together by a guy that he lives, I think, in North Houston.
Yeah.
And we kind of talked to each other and kind of talked to some of the other athletes and let them know that the HHGA was planning on having a festival this year, and so we've both kind of been we've been in communication with a couple of the board members, and we organized a practice last month. We organized a practice. We had about 5 or 6 guys show up, and so we're just just kind of, I think we're trying to build a local, athletic brotherhood, I guess, kind of thing.
Sure.
And we've already put out the word that Houston is going to have a games in September, and there's a lot of interest. A lot of the athletes around the state seem to be excited about him coming back.
Good.
Houston's named after a great Scotsman, in Sam Houston, so why not have a games there?
Absolutely. So, so first off, you're the first person who I've actually had on the show who is a Highland athlete. Can you tell us a little bit about what it's taken you to actually go from just some regular guy in a kilt to actually competing and being competitive, not just showing up and throwing a caber and saying, "Yay, I did it." What kind of prep and what kind of work have you been doing trying to get from just Nathan to kilted Texan caber thrower?
Oh, you obviously got to do a little bit of weightlifting. It really helps if you have some of the implements, whether homemade or you actually buy some to practice with, because many like the hammer and the 56-pound weight that's used for the distance or the height events, especially the sheath, they're just, the movements are so unique to the games.
Yeah.
That unless you have them to practice with, or you have something similar to them to practice with, you can do lifts and stuff that will help, but you really gotta work on technique mostly.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, when I was in high school, in college, I used to run track and I do all the field events. It was the same thing, practice, but you got to get the technique and do the actual event itself with the gear that you need. So how long? So you've been doing this for what, about a year and a half now? Actually competing?
Actually competing? No, I've been competing since probably, I think I figured out I've been doing this for about 17, 18 years.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that blows my whole thing out of the water. I thought you were just getting into it. I didn't realize.
Well, I'm just now getting to where social media has made it to where I can actually connect with people in Houston to where we can organize a group to go practice. I've done practice and stuff with me and my dad for years, and usually whenever I was just competing once or twice a year, I didn't worry too much about practicing. I'm still only doing maybe 2 or 3 games a year.
Okay.
You really notice a difference whenever you put practice to it and you get results on your at the games.
Wow. So, got a question for you. So, I have in my possession, and I got it in my hands right now, I've probably got 5 or 6 10-pound sledgehammers. Would throwing this across a field help me in any way?
It'll help you with the motion.
Okay. Because there's a nice big field at throwing this thing, and I'm sure the people watching the video are like, what the hell is he doing with the sledgehammer? But I've got 3 of them within eyesight from where I'm standing. And I've always... Go ahead.
The hammers that are used in competition, the heavy hammer weighs 22 pounds, and the light hammer weighs 16 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And it's usually on either a piece of Schedule 40 PVC or a wooden handle.
Okay.
And they're round. They're not as big as your sledgehammer handles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my heaviest sledge is only 10. So maybe if I put 2 of them together and just whack and just gave it a whack, that might be fun. So what, now what is it that you I'm going to give you the floor for a few minutes. We know that you're trying to get the games going again in Houston this year, 1st September. And, this video, based on the average, is going to get at least 200 views by the end of this week. what would you want to tell people who are watching this about the games in Houston and what it is that they can look forward to in September once they get going again?
Well, it's set for the weekend of September 23rd.
Okay.
I'm not sure if they're going to do it. I'm not sure if it's going to be a 1 day or 2 day. So it's either 23rd and 24th, or it's just the 23rd. We're starting almost from scratch.
Okay.
So it will be games, vendors, clan tents, and maybe a few pipe bands performing, or just kind of doing displays, or just kind of just playing for the crowd. There's not going to be a piping competition or dancing competition, because
Okay.
we're really just this first year. We're really just trying to get the games reestablished in Houston.
Okay.
So you'll be able to come out, have a beer, watch big men in kilts throw their wood around. I mean, just what really else can you have for? I mean, there's pipes, there's beer. I'm sure there's going to be a few swords out there. Wear your kilt, wear your Renaissance garb if you want. It doesn't really matter. Just come out, enjoy the game, support the Houston Highland Games so that we can restore them to their former glory.
So I've got to ask this question, and I've been asked this. I can't count the number of times. Every time that I've been involved in a festival, going to a festival, anything like that, they've always asked, is there going to be a dunk tank with a guy in a kilt on the seat?
I do not know. I can bring it up to. We're actually having a meeting, a general meeting on Saturday that I'm gonna try to make. If I'm there, I can bring it up and see what the board says. But I'm not that close in the planning. I just kind of get nudged by a couple of the board members for my opinion and stuff, since I've been involved with the game so long, and I'm one of the athletes that actually usually is either shows up to a couple of meetings a year, or at least is in touch with some of the board members.
Oh, awesome. So, and the reason I bring that up is, as with all festivals, the budget is tighter than a fart on a snare drum. It's insane how much of a festival can be put on for so little money. And the general consensus from my experience is if you just throw a guy in a kilt on a dunk tank and it's $1 a ball, and all the money goes to the festival. You just have some of the athletes in the tank, or you have people in the community in a kilt in the tank. You get like firefighters in there, or maybe police in there, and whatever happens, if you get 30 people that try it, 100 people, 5,000 people, whatever, all that money just goes straight back into the festival to help prep for the following year. So that's something that's been brought up more times than I can count over the past 12 years. I figured I'd pass that along because it sounds like it might be very interesting. I can just imagine the line of women that they're sitting there saying, okay, I need, with like a wad of ones like they're at the strip club.
I'll pass that along.
So, awesome. So, the other question, that I asked the folks that come on, because you're the first person involved with the festival, wanted to, see how that went. What is it about the kilt, what has the kilt done for you over the years? Either actively, like you wore a kilt and you met somebody and they gave you this job, or internally where it's like a confidence, or it did something for your self-esteem, or it's one of those, I just do it because I can and I really don't care what happens, and I really haven't been paying attention too much.
Well, it started out as I want to wear this because it's comfortable and I don't really care what you think.
Yeah.
So that kind of is where it started. But since since I've gone from just wearing it to Highland Games or to Renaissance festivals to actually using it as you know a out and about garment.
Yeah.
You got one. You grow a tougher skin.
Yes.
You learn that people are idiots, and you're gonna have to put up with them no matter what you're wearing.
Fact.
You do get a confidence. It's made me very vain about my calves. Whenever I'm lifting and doing leg day, I always make sure I finish with calf raises. My wife will attest. I'm very vain. Most people are, I'm real self-conscious about my arms or your guy, how big his chest is. No, I want my calves to look good because I know if you're in a kilt and you got chicken legs, it's kind of hard to look at.
It can be.
Do what?
I said it can be.
It can be, yeah. It's just kind of become part of who I am. I don't get to wear the kilt every day, but whenever I do, I always know that wherever I'm at, I'm the best dressed guy there.
Also true. True. Yeah, that's very cool. So the two big questions I ask everybody: what has been your most favorite experience while wearing the kilt since you started wearing it? It's that one thing that's like, you know what? All this stuff is cool, but there was that one day where something happened. What was that day for you?
It's got to be my senior prom. I don't think I had bought my Texas Bluebonnet yet because I didn't own a kilt. But I had made a decision that before I graduated high school, I was going to wear a kilt in Prince Charlie to a school function.
Nice.
And junior prom, I told my date said that she would not go with me if I wore a kilt, so I ended up in a zoot suit that year.
Well, hey, that works.
But so senior prom came up, and this was my last chance. I found a company. I want to say they're up in Minnesota. It might have been Celtic Croft, but I want to say it's somebody that was in Pennsylvania, so it wasn't them because I believe they're in Minnesota.
A rental place.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a couple of them out there that are really good. I've gone through one in Pennsylvania. There's another one up, like you said, in Minnesota. There's one down by you somewhere. I just don't know where.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. They're the same people who kind of own the copyright of the Bluebonnet.
I think so.
But anyway, I got a kilt. I ordered it. Ordered it to rent and everything, and I showed up to my senior prom. See, down here in the country, there's a bunch of Texas tuxedos with blue jeans and tails.
Oh yeah.
There's also a bunch of gangster pimp tuxes and everything, and I showed up wearing my Prince Charlie and black watch kilt, fly plaid, and of course they had to send me the skin do that was just the plastic sheath and everything.
Yeah, it's a fake one.
They wouldn't let me into the prom with that.
No, I doubt it. That's pretty awesome. That's really cool. I know that in the past 10 years or so, I've seen in the news countless number of people who have wanted to wear a kilt to a prom, and the school committee or someone else says, no, you can't, and then there's this massive uprising in the kilted community, and they backtrack. I know
you don't want a bunch of pissed off kilties coming after you.
No, I mean, we throw trees. I mean, who wants to deal with that?
I also have to say that getting married in a kilt was a wonderful day.
Oh, I can only imagine. And the only reason I say that I didn't get married in a kilt, but I've been to many weddings in a kilt, and the receptions were epic, But the most amazing thing was, whenever I bump into the groom sometime later, I'm like, so is the kilt worth it? And his eyes just get real big, and he just has that shit-eating grin on his face. And he's like, yeah, the kilt was awesome. And that was the end of the conversation. So, yeah, I feel you there. So, awesome. Those were the awesome times. So what, in your experience wearing a kilt, was the single worst experience you've ever had? I'm guessing it probably had to do with somebody else, but the single worst experience you've ever had while kilted?
I don't think I've really had a bad experience. I had one time I was wearing a shirt. I was wearing Got Kilt's. It's a kilt, not a skirt shirt.
Yeah, I've got one of those. Yep.
If we wore something under it, then it'd be a skirt.
Yep.
I was wearing that, and me and my wife were at the mall in First Colony, and I think we might have been registering stuff for our wedding. And I was standing there looking at something, and I happened to turn around, and I saw this hoity-toity woman looking at my shirt, and she just had this look of disgust on her face, and she kind of, I think we kind of met eyes, and she shook her head and turned away, and I couldn't help but laugh to myself. That's another thing. If you're going to wear a kilt, you have to have a sense of humor.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the most common question about, men wearing a kilt. So why not just put the answer out there for them?
Absolutely. I mean, you got two choices: either find out or ask. And there's a million different answers to that question that don't involve using your hands. So that's awesome. If that being the worst that you've ever had to deal with, I'm actually surprised. 'Cause I know when I was in Tulsa, which isn't that far from you, the list of things that I had to deal with down there is just ridiculous. Some of it's even unfit for this show, and that I really haven't avoided any topics outside of politics and religion because those aren't my business. It's your business. So the fact that that's as bad as you've gotten, that's pretty impressive.
I mean, usually it's more curiosity from other people.
Wow.
It's just, like, normally the question I'll get, like if I go fill up before we leave to go somewhere, or if I'm just out in town, we go up to the cashier. Usually the question is there a festival or something you're going to?
Yep.
And whenever you answer no, it's just something I like to wear because it's comfortable. They just say, oh, okay.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's really cool. You must be in one of the more forgiving areas of the country, because I know that there's a lot of spots I've been to where I've been to plenty of places just like that where nobody cares, but I've been to other places where, you might as well have 5 arms and a purple horn coming out of your head if you're wearing a kilt. And they'll tell you straight to your face how they feel.
I'll catch looks every once in a while, but, nobody's really come up and just, tried to tell me that I'm wrong for wearing a kilt, or, try to call me a cross-dresser or anything like that.
Wow. Awesome. That's really cool. So, the last thing, in all of your experience, one of the big things that we talk about on the show is, try to help address issues and dispel myths for folks who are new to the kilt or completely unfamiliar or are looking to get in. They want to buy a kilt, but they're curious and they don't know what they're really getting into. What would be the one piece of advice that you would want to offer someone who is new to the world of wearing kilts?
If you're going to wear the kilt, that first step out the door is going to be the hardest, but once you do it, wear it with confidence. Don't take any crap from anybody. Don't make anybody's looks or comments make you feel like you shouldn't be wearing it, because, screw them. They don't know what's going on. They don't know if it's your heritage. They don't know that you're a Highland Games athlete. They don't know that, you know, maybe you're disabled and the only way that you can wear it is, or wear, you know, something around your nether regions is to wear a kilt. It's
Awesome.
just, you know, be yourself and be comfortable in the kilt.
Awesome. That's, you know, that I'm sure you've seen it. That's kind of what I preach every single, well, not, yeah, might as well use the word preach. Every single show. It's, you know, be strong, put a kilt on. That's the whole, that's the whole mentality is, you know, that strength is an inner strength. It's a strength that you build up inside yourself. You're not looking outside yourself. You're not trying to say, okay, I'm going to go have this glass of scotch and it'll make me feel better. I'm going to go to this seminar on motivation that's going to make me feel better. It's an inner strength to be confident in yourself so that when you do wear your kilt or whatever else, you don't have to worry about all these other people. That's awesome. That's amazing advice. So, Nathan, again, those of you watching, Nathan Schroedter, did I say that right?
Schroedter.
I always fear people's last names because I know I'm going to screw them up. You should have heard me when I'm like at Boy Scout camp or something. First name's fine, last name's forget about it. So, Nathan Schroedter out of just outside Houston, Texas. And again, it is September 21st.
23rd.
September 23rd, the Houston Highland Games. And pay attention. I'm actually going to throw my hat in the ring here and help Nathan do PR and market this event so that they can get a crap load of people heading out to this year's Houston Highland Games. September 23rd, you guys have to be there. And God willing, there'll be a dunk tank with a guy in a kilt and balls to throw so you can get him in the water. And if you're lucky, it's one of those glass front tanks. You know, if you want that thing, tell Nathan you want that dunk tank, because, you know, enough people want to see a guy in a kilt in a dunk tank. They'll probably provide it. So go out and do that. So Nathan, I want to say thank you again for joining us, and I hope you have an awesome night. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, when are you coming down here so that I can buy you a beer?
Holy crap. Well, that revolves around two things, my son and my daughter. So, well, that and money. So, when I get those three things all lined up in a row, then absolutely. I know I've been summoned to the Tulsa Scott Fest in early September. I don't know if I'm going to make it that for those exact same reasons. So, you know, who knows? I've got a Powerball ticket sitting on the table that I haven't checked yet. If that thing hits for even a little bit, you know, Powerball a little bit is plenty of money. So yeah, I plan on getting down there as soon as I can. It's just a matter of getting all my ducks in a row.
Sounds good.
Awesome. So Nathan, again, thank you very much, and everyone watching. This was Everyday KT. Nathan, I'm going to let you pick today's kiltology. Volume 1. Any particular one you want? It goes from 1 to 200.
Man, I don't know one off the top of my head.
Okay, if you had a favorite number in there somewhere, I'll just read it, whatever it is.
13.
13. Hey, that's my 13 was my number in high school, and it's my favorite number. So this act. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, as is almost every show, the kiltology that is selected generally applies to something that we've talked about during the show. And 13 applies to the Highland Games more than any other kiltology that I can remember. When packing your sporin, be very mindful of the activities in which you plan to partake. Wearing the equivalent of a day pack over your manhood during most any activity will ruin your day very quickly. So, sporins and Highland Games is bad. Especially if, like everyone else at a Highland festival, you've got 1 or 2 flasks of single malt in there, and those things banging around, and it's just a horrible, horrible day.
You'll notice how most Highland athletes athletes don't wear sporrans when they're throwing.
And see, that's the man right there telling you. Sporrans and Highland Games, bad. I can only imagine trying to throw a caber with a sporran on. I just can't see it happening.
That's not a good idea.
No. Either you rip the sporran strap or you'll hurt something else. Or worse yet, you'll drop the sporran on the judge and then you're really screwed. So.
Well, dropping the sporran wouldn't be bad. Dropping the caber.
Oh, I'm sorry. Dropping the caber on the judge, especially if it's the challenge caber. That's always the one that sucks. So, Nathan, again, thank you very much for joining us tonight, and everyone watching. This was KT with Everyday KT, number 174, live with Nathan Schroedter from outside Houston, Texas. And tomorrow night, 175. I don't have no idea what we're going to talk about, but it's going to be awesome because it's Friday night, and weekends are made for shenanigans. So until tomorrow, be strong. Put a kilt on.